welcome. You're watching yet another edition of IPO Rush on Money9, India's first multilingual platform for personal finance from TV9 News Network. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this edition, we are going to be sharing with you the complete buzz of what's happening in the primary market space and also tell you how have the new listings taken shape on the D Street as well. Let's quickly take a look at the new listings of the day. At 10 a.m. today, we saw two listings of these IPOs that have made their debut on the D Street. However, even though the markets are in the green, these both IPOs have actually had a decent or a muted listing at this point in time on the D Street as well. Let's take it forward to Kalyan Jewellers first. That is the first stock that has got listed today. Remember, the Kalyan Jewellers IPO was 1175 crore rupees issue, and it was sold between March 16 to March 18. One lot size was 172 shares with a face value of 10 rupees per share, and the price band was 86 to 87 rupees per share. But where has it got listed? The shares have got listed at just under 74 rupees per share. The issue price was 86.87, and the discount at which it has got listed is 15%. So the muted listing has somehow disappointed the investors really. But even before the subscription levels, we had actually seen that the subscription was quite high. But apart from this, most of the brokerage houses and the experts were actually talking about that despite the fact that it is relatively cheaper valued when you compare with the peers in the jewelry space such as Titan, most of the analysts were not quite gung-ho on the issue. They cited weak balance sheets of the company, the poor capital allocation and poor track record of the jewelry listings in the past as well, despite the kind of brand name that the company really owns at. So 15% discount. We'll just have to see whether the shares recover during the trading session or not. And we'll have to understand, whether this space is something that the investors really should look at from here on. Is there any buzz that you should look at, subscribing to such IPOs in the jewelry space, or even think of getting into this stock post the listing right now also or not? But at 12:30, we'll be speaking to a fundamental expert on our market meter show, where the expert will be definitely talking about what should be your strategy on the new listings as well. So in case you're looking for those opinions, do join us for that show as well. Moving on to another listing that has happened today, that's not in the jewelry space, but another is in the small banking finance space, and Suryodaya small banking finance company has got listed again. Remember, the issue was subscribed between 17th of March to 19th of March. One lot size included shares of 49 with a face value of 10 rupees per share. The issue size was 580 crore rupees, and the price band was 303 to 305 rupees per share. However, the shares have again got listed at a discount of over 4% at 292 rupees per share. So what has really weighed on for this company? Remember, the issue was subscribed around 2.37 times. So definitely the retail participation, the QIBs and non-institutional investors, all of them had definitely subscribed to this space, and this space is also buzzing. In fact, Suryodaya Small Finance Bank is the fourth small finance bank to come into the bourses, and that is after AU Small Finance Bank, Equitas Small Finance Bank and Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, and most of them have done pretty well for the investors in the past as well. However, if you say at the debut, the market cap of this bank was 3,109 crore rupees right in the first tick of listing as well. However, if you see, the analysts had mixed views on this IPO. They were confused between the high valuations and the good return ratios as well. However, some brokerage houses had also recommended this issue with a long-term perspective, but not for listing gains, given the expected overall growth going ahead, while others were actually concerned about the current asset quality that the bank has, the high valuations that the bank commands at this kind of stock price, and the regional concentration that the bank has. So all of these concerns is something that most of the brokerage houses were weighing on, and they were not coming out with an override subscription rating to this bank as well. However, just like how we have always talked to our investors on Money9, is that most of the experts have spoken through us to all our viewers, is that all of the investors should actually have a long-term view when it comes to investments, whether it is in the IPO sphere or in the secondary market as well. As just purely for listing gains, it has been seen in the past record as well that a very few companies in the primary market space do outshine and outperform in the markets as well. So yesterday you had seen a tepid listing, and today again two companies have listed with a muted trend as well. So all these factors is something that you should definitely keep on your mind. Even yesterday on our IPO Rush, we had covered this entire 1 year of IPOs and their performance. And we had also talked about that despite about over 31 companies that had hit the street in the last 1 year so far, we've only seen about 10 companies that are still holding up on the positive side when you talk about the positive performance from the listing day, that is. So, there is always a risk of whether you should get into a company only for listing gates. Not all companies will outperform if they're not backed with enough fundamentals as well. Let's move on to talk about the IPO that is still buzzing the street, and that is Barbeque Nation IPO, the hospitality chain that owns this casual Indian dining chain in several metros, and it has about 147 restaurants to its kitty, some of the international presence as well. The company is planning to raise 453 crore rupees with a fresh issue of 180 crore rupees, OFS of 54.5 lakh shares. The minimum investment that you would need to do in case you are still looking for opportunity to get into this IPO and subscribe to it is 15,000 rupees per lot, and 10% of the portion is reserved for the retail investors as well. But what most of the brokerage houses over here have also said that, there is a divided opinion between Yes Securities. If you talk about, they have given an avoid rating to this IPO. Angel Broking has given a neutral rating. We have not found any, brokerage house really giving an outright subscribe rating. So far, if you see, the issue has got subscribed only 2 times so far. Looking at, of course, it has got fully subscribed and there is an oversubscription rating, which is positive for the company. The issue is going to close today as well. In case you're looking at whether you should go for this IPO, there's some more time for you until today as well. But most of the concerns by, of course, 203 odd crore rupees have already been raised by the anchor investors for the company as well. But most of the brokerage houses have also displayed concerns of the kind of performance that the company has, especially with respect to the promoters and some of the pledged portion of shares as well. Most of the money will actually go to the shareholders who are selling their shares through this OFS. The 180 crore rupees that the company is going to raise through the fresh issue is actually going to be used for some expansion, working capital needs, and also repaying of some amount of debt as well. So most of the concerns are also on the back of the kind of performance on the financial space that the company has given. In the past few years, we've seen that the company has been making losses on the bottom line, even though the revenues have been increasing on the top line. The last 1 year, because of the pandemic, was more tough for such companies which are actually promoting in-house dining experiences with the kind of patented services that they had. They were the pioneers of the tabletop grilling services. So all of those were actually on the backseat because of the COVID-19 pandemic as well. So all of that is something that you'll have to keep in your mind as well. And we'll keep getting you all the voices of the experts as to how should you move forward for the Barbeque Nation counter as well. For today, the IPO, the last day, and also on the listing day and henceforth as well. But in case you're looking to listen to what the company has to say about itself and its strategy post the IPO, then you should tune into Money today to catch Rahul Agarwal, the CEO of Barbeque Nation Hospitality, in conversation with Krishna Kumar at 5 p.m. today, as he will discuss what is the company's strategy of growth and vision going forward from here. So tune into that, and thank you very much for joining this edition of IPO Rush as well.